Welcome to the first video of notes about the Catholic or the Counter-Reformation. One of the things you have to remember is that when we say the Catholic Reformation or the Counter-Reformation, it means the exact same thing. Okay, different sources will call it different things. But the big idea is that it's a reformation just like the Protestant Reformation. The Catholic Church is going to try and make some changes to prevent people from leaving the Catholic faith and becoming Protestant. So what happens? What are the Catholics going to do in response to the Protestant Reformation? The first thing they do is they have a meeting of the cardinals. Cardinals are the second highest level in the Catholic Church. The Pope is the highest. And they're going to have this meeting in Trent. Okay, so it's called the Council of Trent. And the focus of this meeting is to stop internal corruption. So they want to prevent indulgences. After a lot of discussion, they finally agree to limit the sale of indulgences, okay, and do a more moderate version of indulgences. But they also do a lot of other things to make the church less corrupted. They start educating priests a lot more. And if you look on the back side of the notes, or the second page of the notes, we have a decree from the Council of Trent that we went over in class. Not all classes went through this, but basically the main idea is that the Council of Trent is saying, the Catholic Church saying that we believe that you have to have faith and good works in order to get to heaven, that Bibles should only be written in Latin, not in any vernacular language or the languages of normal countries or regions. There's a list of forbidden books that you're not supposed to read, like Martin Luther's 95 Theses. Those are forbidden for Catholics. And indulgences are used in moderation. Those are the big things that come out of the Council of Trent. Now, other things that they do are going to include the creation of the Jesuit order. They're going to try and spread Catholicism through education. They're founded by a knight named Ignatius of Loyola. He is going to cast off his knighthood and become a monk in creating the Jesuits. The Jesuits today focus on education. They run a lot of high schools and universities. Georgetown University is a Jesuit school, so is Villanova University. And so what they're doing is they're trying to make sure that people don't become Protestant, they become Catholic or better Catholics through education. The Jesuits often become missionaries. They're going to be missionaries in Asia, trying to spread Catholicism there as well. And lastly, the Catholic Church promotes the Inquisition. Okay, the Inquisition, you need to write this down, is a religious trial against heresy. And say, heresy is the idea of going against the beliefs of the church. And so they're taking people and putting them on trial for going against the beliefs of the church, for things like becoming Protestant. Okay, this reinforces Catholicism to help prevent other people from becoming non-Catholic. So, this you don't have to write down, but essentially it's a little thing. You can stop the video and read through it. It's just a little bit more background information about the Inquisition, about which empire we saw the Inquisition used in, how it's a Latin term, meaning investigation or inquest. And it's going to spread from Spain under Isabel and Ferdinand to the places that they conquer, including Mexico, Peru, Sicily, and the Netherlands. So back on the notes, the purpose of the Inquisition is for punishment does not take place primarily and per se for the correction and the good of the person punished, but for the public good in order that others may become terrified and weaned away from the evils they would commit. It's saying that I'm not punishing you for you. I'm punishing you for all of the other people who are watching to help them not do what you did. So if you became a Protestant, I'm going to punish you in the middle of the town square so that everybody else can see and make sure they don't become Protestant too. How would they punish heresy? Most of the time you're burned at the stake. Okay, so here's a picture of a guy being burned at the stake for heresy. Not a pleasant thing. Now, because we have Catholics and Protestants, we've got two denominations of the same religion, Christianity, we're going to see some fighting break out. Okay, so fighting breaks out between these religions. We're going to see some pauses and some continuations of the fighting. Okay, so most of it is taking place in Germany and France. We're going to see the Peace of Augsburg happen, which is when the German princes who are converting to Protestantism and are fighting with the Holy Roman Empire are allowed to choose what religion they and their state should be. So if I'm a prince, I'm going to decide that my people should be Protestant. Or if I'm a prince, I'm going to decide that my people should be Catholic. Okay, so as the Peace of Augsburg, you get to decide as a prince. Some princes convert to Protestantism, ending the Pope's authority in their states. Others don't. The Habsburg family, the emperors of the Holy Roman Empire, let's add that in, continue to support Catholicism. Okay, so there's going to be a conflict here between the different levels of the Holy Roman Empire now. This is going to break out into a big war called the 30 Years' War. Okay, it's Catholics fighting Protestants. That's key to remember. It's going to be a devastating war in the Holy Roman Empire and France. Germany is going to lose a lot of their population. Remember that the Holy Roman Empire is Germany today. Okay, we just call it something different back then. Now, a guy comes along in France who's a cardinal. He's taken a lot of power away from the king, or is ruling in the king's behalf in France, named Cardinal Richelieu. And he changes the focus of war from religious to political. So it's no longer Catholics versus Protestants. It's now France versus the Holy Roman Empire. It's a political thing. The picture on the left is Cardinal Richelieu with the siege of a French town against the Protestants. And over on the right is our friend Tim Curry, who plays Cardinal Richelieu in the movie The Three Musketeers. It's an older movie from the 1990s. You should go watch it, but not until you're finished your homework. So, effect of the war, you can see from this map that this is Germany. Okay, we've got Denmark up at the top, we've got Poland to the right, France to the left, and this map is going to show the darker parts, 66% of the populations died, the middle color, 33% of the population died, so you can see how it's affecting the population. If there are 3 of you sitting at a table, 1 of you is gone for 33% of the population dying. Now, religious conflict is going to continue in France. In France, we call Protestants Huguenots. That is a word you need to know. Okay, so it becomes Catholics versus Huguenots. And they have what happens is a St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, where it's a 6-week-long massacre of Huguenots by Catholics. So they're fighting in the streets, like you can see in the picture, and basically trying to kill all of the Huguenots. The king gets really upset with all of this, and so the king issues what's called the Edict of Nantes. The Edict of Nantes is a document. It was written in a town called Nantes, so that's why it's called that, and it grants religious tolerance to all of the Huguenots in France. And you have underneath your, at the bottom of your notes, a little passage from the Edict of Nantes. It looks like it's on a scroll. Okay, and it says, in order to leave no occasion for troubles or differences between our subjects, we have permitted those of the said religion called Reformed to live and abide in all the cities and places of this our kingdom and countries of our sway, without being annoyed, molested, or compelled to do anything in the matter of religion contrary to their consciences. Let's translate that. So it's saying that in order to leave no occasion for troubles or differences between our subjects, we're saying that in order to stop the fighting, they're going to let those of the religion called Reformed, the Huguenots, to live and abide in all the cities and places of this our kingdom, France, without being annoyed, molested, or compelled. So they're not being harmed. Huguenots are about not being harmed in France, and they're not forced to do things that are contrary to their beliefs or that go against their beliefs. Meaning, they can live in France, they can be in France, Huguenots are allowed to practice their religion. And that's a really big deal. Think of the other places that we've seen religious tolerance with our empires. We saw it in Mughal India and in the Ottoman Empire. So kind of a big deal. All right, contrary to Spain that's killing everybody who's not Catholic. Okay, and then lastly, we just have a map of the European religions. You can see which religion is going to move into which area. Okay, so the northern part of Europe is going to be much more Protestant. Okay, remember that Lutherans, Calvinists, and Anglicans are all Protestant. Okay, the light bone color is going to be Roman Catholic. We've got a mixture of Roman Catholic and Protestant minorities in the east before we get to Orthodox Russia and the Ottoman Empire that is Muslim. Okay, so that's kind of a big deal, and you can see how there are many different religions within the Holy Roman Empire. More religions not having that tolerance established is going to lead to more fighting. That's the end of our notes. Check back next time for more.